Signs that someone close to you secretly hates you. Stoicism. Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Lao Tzu. Have you ever sensed something wasn't right with someone close to you even when their words seem kind? Maybe their actions or tone make you feel uneasy, as if there's something they're not saying. As Carl Jung pointed out, we all have a shadow, hidden parts of ourselves we often repress, and sometimes those shadows surface in others' behavior, especially when resentment, jealousy, or hostility are involved. In today's video, we'll explore the subtle signs that someone close to you might secretly harbor negative feelings. These behaviors, from passive-aggressive comments to sabotage, can be difficult to spot but are crucial to recognize for your emotional well-being. This is where modern Stoicism can offer powerful guidance. By understanding Stoic secrets, we can choose how to respond to these situations with wisdom and resilience. Have you noticed any signs like this in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's dive into these insightful lessons together. Signs that someone close to you secretly hates you. Number 1. Contempt disguised as irony. Have you ever received a comment that seemed harmless at first, but left you feeling uncomfortable or even humiliated? This is a common experience, and it often hides something deeper: contempt disguised as humor. This form of hostility is subtle yet powerful, and it's one of the hardest to recognize. Imagine a friend cracks a joke about how bad you are at handling stress, despite you having shared your struggles with them before. At first, it might seem like a harmless comment, just playful teasing. But over time, you begin to feel your confidence eroding with every remark that cuts too deep. This isn't just humor, it's resentment masked by irony, and it can be incredibly damaging. The real danger lies in the fact that these comments don't seem malicious at first, allowing them to slip under the radar. But they target your vulnerabilities, and that's where the harm occurs. In modern Stoicism, we're taught that people's words often reflect their own inner turmoil, insecurities, and unresolved issues. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." When someone is constantly making sarcastic remarks about you, remember, it's more about them than it is about you. Often, this behavior stems from their own insecurities, their shadow self, as Carl Jung would describe it. It's as if they feel better about themselves by putting you down. But your peace of mind should never be something they control. Stoicism encourages us to focus on our own reactions rather than the actions of others. You don't need to react to a snide comment or backhanded compliment with anger or frustration. Instead, take a moment to reflect. How does this comment make you feel? Are you questioning your worth? If the answer is yes, it's time to set boundaries. Don't let their words take up space in your mind. Pay attention to how these comments affect your self-esteem and emotional state. Ask yourself, why does this hurt? And am I letting their projection define how I see myself? These questions are vital for developing emotional resilience and self-awareness. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." So, how much of your emotional energy are you willing to waste on someone's cruel irony? By practicing modern Stoicism, you learn to manage your emotional responses. Instead of reacting with frustration, focus on what you can control: your sense of self, your boundaries, and your peace of mind. When you start recognizing these subtle signs of contempt, you can stop them from affecting you. Remember, your worth is not defined by the words or actions of others. The next time you face a comment disguised as humor or irony, take a moment to evaluate your feelings. Is it truly just a joke, or is it something more? Are you allowing someone's insecurity to shake your confidence? Use this moment to strengthen your inner resolve, to be mindful of your emotional reactions, and to protect your peace. Applying modern Stoicism helps us realize that these forms of hostility don't have to affect us. You have the power to rise above them, to remain calm, and to not let their words undermine your self-worth. The real question is, will you take that power back? Number 2. Hidden sabotage. When someone close to you secretly harbors ill feelings, their actions might not always be immediately obvious. One of the more subtle and damaging signs is what I call hidden sabotage. This is when a person covertly undermines your progress or success through actions that appear innocent on the surface but are, in reality, calculated to create obstacles in your path. These subtle acts might take the form of providing misleading advice, withholding key information, or even making small, seemingly unintentional errors that disrupt your plans. A common scenario is when a colleague forgets to mention an important deadline or fails to deliver crucial information they had promised. While they may appear genuinely unaware of the harm they've caused, their actions consistently create problems for you, often at the most critical moments. Over time, these so-called accidents start to feel far from random and more like a pattern, one that grows harder to ignore. As you begin to notice these behaviors, you might start to wonder, is this person truly oblivious, or is there something more deliberate at play? I would encourage you to trust your instincts. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This is a reminder that it's not the grand gestures that define the intentions of others, but the small repeated actions that reflect their true character. Hidden sabotage often arises from envy or a fear of your success. Those who feel threatened by your growth may resort to undermining you as a way of dealing with their own insecurities. Carl Jung famously stated, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." This reflects a universal truth. When someone is uncomfortable with their own position or growth, they may try to bring others down to feel more secure in themselves. Recognizing this behavior can be a difficult pill to swallow, especially when it comes from someone close to you. But it's essential to understand that in many cases, these acts of sabotage have more to do with the person doing the sabotaging than with you. In Stoic philosophy, we are taught to be indifferent to external actions and events, focusing instead on how we respond to them. As you navigate the complexities of modern life, be vigilant. If you notice a repeated pattern of sabotage, no matter how small, acknowledge it without getting caught in the emotional turmoil it triggers, whether it's in your personal life or at work. People who feel threatened by you may subtly sabotage your efforts to protect their own sense of self-worth. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, take a step back and reflect on what truly matters: your growth, your goals, and your own sense of purpose. The Stoic secrets tell us that these challenges are not obstacles to our success, but opportunities to practice resilience and maintain a peaceful mind. Recognizing hidden sabotage for what it is can empower you to remain steadfast and pursue your goals with clarity, unaffected by those who may wish to see you falter. Number 3. Silent competition. Throughout life, we encounter individuals who, though they appear friendly, may secretly harbor resentment. One of the more subtle signs of this is what I call silent competition. This passive hostility often stems from deep insecurity. Instead of celebrating your success, these individuals feel compelled to outdo you. They constantly compare themselves to you, vying not just for attention, but also for validation. Rather than sharing in your joy, they may downplay your achievements or shift the focus to their own experiences. For instance, after sharing news of a promotion, they might respond with, "Well, I've been doing similar work for years," subtly minimizing your success. This behavior is rooted in an unspoken fear of inadequacy. When people cannot accept their own perceived shortcomings, they project that insecurity onto you. Their resentment isn't really about you, it's about their internal struggle with self-worth. In modern life, this can manifest as a colleague who always tries to one-up you, or a friend who dismisses your achievements. Carl Jung's concept of shadow projection explains this well. People project qualities they cannot accept in themselves, such as success or confidence, onto others. It's a defense mechanism that allows them to diminish others to deny their own feelings of failure. This silent competition may be more common than you realize, and it can go unnoticed until it begins to undermine your self-esteem. You might start questioning if your victories are truly worth celebrating or if you're simply seeking validation that will never come. In these moments, modern Stoicism offers valuable wisdom. It teaches us to focus not on external approval, but on cultivating inner peace and self-acceptance. It's not easy to face passive hostility from those close to us, but Stoicism emphasizes detachment. We don't need to engage in the race for comparison. Instead, we can focus on our own journey, setting personal standards of success and finding contentment within ourselves. Take a moment to reflect on your relationships. Are there individuals who consistently downplay your accomplishments or compare themselves to you in ways that feel dismissive? These subtle behaviors may seem harmless at first, but over time, they can erode your sense of trust and joy. The key is recognizing these signs early and not letting them impact your self-esteem. In a world that often glorifies competition, modern Stoicism offers a refreshing perspective, one that values self-mastery over external validation. Instead of succumbing to the pressure of comparison, you can choose to define success on your own terms. As Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So when you encounter silent competition, remind yourself that their insecurity reflects their internal struggles, not your worth. Your success doesn't threaten them. It highlights the work they still need to do on themselves. Stay grounded in your own journey, focusing on your growth and inner peace, and rise above the judgments of others. If you've ever encountered someone who downplays your achievements or subtly competes with you, leave a comment below saying, "I see it clearly." Your insights and experiences are valuable in helping us build a community that embraces self-awareness and personal growth. Sharing your thoughts can not only help others recognize these subtle behaviors, but also encourage us all to rise above the silent competition and focus on our own journeys with strength and confidence. Let's continue to support one another in our pursuit of inner peace and success. Number 4. Superficial support. Spotting resentment from someone close to you can be challenging, especially when you expect their support during important moments in your life. One of the clearest signs of hidden animosity is superficial support. Consider this. When you achieve something significant like landing a new job or finishing a long-awaited project, you expect your friends or family to celebrate with you. But what if their response is indifferent or even patronizing? A half-hearted congratulations or a lack of enthusiasm can make you question whether they genuinely care about your success. This lack of excitement isn't just uncomfortable, it's a red flag. If this behavior continues during critical moments, it may suggest that their feelings toward you aren't as positive as they seem. Carl Jung discussed emotional detachment, where individuals become disconnected from their own emotions, leading to cold and uninspired reactions to others' successes. If someone can't celebrate with you during your achievements or offer support in tough times, it could indicate resentment or emotional distance. Let's take a modern example. Imagine you've worked for months on a passion project. After pouring your heart into it, you finally finish and excitedly share the news with your friends. Everyone reacts positively, except one person. They respond with, "That's nice. Good for you." While they haven't said anything negative, the lack of enthusiasm stings. At first you might brush it off. Maybe they're tired or don't fully understand what it means to you. But over time you notice a pattern. Each time you share good news, their response is the same. No real excitement, no genuine support. You begin to wonder, do they actually feel happy for me? Or is something else going on beneath the surface? This is where Stoic principles come in. Stoicism teaches us not to take things personally. We can't control how others react, but we can control our own responses. So ask yourself, do I need their approval to feel good about my achievements? Or can I take pride in my success regardless of how they respond? If their response leaves you questioning their feelings, it's a sign to focus your emotional energy inward. Reaffirm your worth and celebrate your accomplishments without depending on others for validation. Recognizing a lack of genuine support helps protect your emotional well-being, allowing you to move forward with strength and resilience. The lesson here is twofold. First, be mindful of superficial support, as it may signal deeper resentment. If someone consistently offers lukewarm or forced support, reassess the relationship. Are they truly happy for you, or simply going through the motions? Second, remember that your worth doesn't depend on others' opinions. Stoicism teaches us to find strength within ourselves. Our happiness and success aren't defined by how others react. Keep in mind that true peace comes from within, and understanding others' motives allows you to stay calm, resilient, and true to yourself. True strength lies in recognizing your worth, independent of external validation. Number 5. Control disguised as caring. Imagine this. You're close to someone who's supposed to support you, whether it's a friend, partner, or family member. Over time, you begin to notice subtle signs that their words and actions are making you feel smaller, less capable. At first, it's easy to overlook. Their helpful advice may disguise itself as care, but it starts to chip away at your confidence. They might say things like, "I'm just looking out for you," or "You should consider doing it this way." But deep down you sense something isn't right. Have you ever felt that their advice made you second-guess yourself instead of feeling empowered? This is a sign that their intentions might not be as selfless as they seem. If someone's well-intentioned advice consistently makes you feel insecure or unsure of your abilities, it might not be coming from a place of concern, but from a need to control. Modern Stoicism teaches us the importance of self-reliance, trusting our own judgment, and finding strength in our decisions. When someone close to you constantly questions your choices, whether it's about your career, finances, or relationships, it's not just a difference of opinion, it's a subtle form of manipulation. They may not even realize it, but their constant input can erode your trust in yourself, making you feel like you need them to guide every step you take. This isn't about advice anymore. It's about dominance, disguised as care. Carl Jung wisely pointed out that people who feel out of control often try to assert control over others to compensate for their inner chaos. It's not necessarily about you, but about their need for control. Think about it. Are they genuinely trying to help, or are they using concern to control your decisions in a way that makes them feel more secure? When people are insecure in their own lives, they often impose their way onto others to feel grounded. So ask yourself, how do you feel after receiving their advice? Do you feel empowered and confident in your choices, or do you feel uncertain and more dependent on their approval? This is a key sign that their actions may not be helpful, but are subtly undermining your self-reliance. This is where Stoic philosophy can help. The Stoics, like Epictetus, believed that our true power lies in how we respond to life's challenges, not in the events themselves. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." If you feel your autonomy slipping away, it's time to take control and set boundaries. Trust in your own ability to navigate life and don't let someone's disguised control dictate your decisions. It's natural to want support from the people we care about, but remember, your self-respect and inner peace are more valuable than anyone's opinion. Reflect. Are you in control of your own life, or are you letting someone else take the reins from the shadows? You deserve to trust yourself, just as the Stoics taught the power of self-mastery and personal responsibility. Ask yourself this: are The people close to you truly empowering you to become your best self? Or are they making you doubt your own judgment and path in life? Number 6. Spreading criticism and gossip. In life, we often come across individuals who harbor hidden animosities, and one of the clearest signs is when they resort to gossip or criticism behind our backs. Hostile individuals prefer to attack, indirectly, spreading rumors or false information rather than confronting us directly. This behavior is especially damaging because it erodes our reputation without our knowledge. You might not notice the harm until it's too late, when people start treating you differently, distancing themselves, or avoiding you without explanation. If you notice this, it's possible that someone close to you has been poisoning others' perceptions of you through gossip, exaggerating facts, or even making up stories to make you seem unreliable or untrustworthy. For instance, a coworker might spread rumors about your dependability, leading others to question your professionalism without ever confronting you. Carl Jung once said that the desire to discredit others often comes from deep insecurity. People who feel inadequate project their flaws onto others, using gossip as a way to elevate their sense of superiority. This behavior is more about their own emotional struggles than anything to do with you. Realizing this can help you understand that these attacks reflect their inner turmoil, not a true judgment of your character. As a Stoic, I've learned that we can't control how others perceive us, but we can control our reactions. When faced with gossip or criticism, the Stoic secret is to maintain inner peace. Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By adopting this mindset, we can rise above petty attacks without letting them disturb our tranquility. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in the drama others create. Perhaps someone at work is treating you differently, or certain people no longer seek your company. It's crucial to stay grounded and avoid reacting emotionally. Stoic mindfulness can help you assess the situation without jumping to conclusions or self-criticism. Ask yourself, what is in my control? And how can I respond with virtue rather than letting this affect my peace? Stoicism teaches that we cannot control what others think of us, but we can control how we respond. Gossip and misjudgment are reflections of others' struggles, not a measure of your worth. As Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Adversity offers opportunities to strengthen your character and practice virtue. By staying true to your values and acting with integrity, you allow others to see the real you. Dealing with someone close to you who resorts to indirect hostility can be frustrating. But the key is how you handle the situation. You don't need to confront every rumor or defend yourself at every turn. Instead, focus on living authentically and letting your actions speak for you. The Stoic secret is maintaining composure and integrity, regardless of how others behave. In time, those who matter will see your true character, and those spreading rumors will expose their own insecurities. Protect your peace by responding with calm and wisdom. This way, you not only shield yourself from gossip but also strengthen your resilience. You've just taken a powerful step toward mastering your emotions and responses. How do you handle gossip and criticism in your life? Share with us in the comments by writing the phrase, "Stay true, stay calm," to show how you're applying these Stoic principles to protect your peace. Your journey towards personal growth and resilience is unfolding. Keep moving forward with integrity, and remember, every challenge is an opportunity to practice Stoic wisdom. Stay tuned and keep refining your inner strength. Number 7. A lack of joy in your successes. In life, we expect those close to us to share in our successes, celebrating our victories with joy and enthusiasm. This is a natural reflection of mutual respect and care. However, when someone close to you doesn't share in your excitement, it can signal something deeper. Instead of celebrating your success, they may remain indifferent or even downplay it. A brief, emotionless, "Oh, that's nice," or a quick shift to focus on their own achievements can feel disheartening. leaving you questioning the authenticity of the relationship. This coldness might be a sign of hidden resentment. Someone who feels insecure or envious about their own situation may struggle to feel genuine happiness for your success. As Carl Jung said, jealousy is not a sign of love, it is a sign of insecurity and self-doubt. If they feel threatened by your success, even unconsciously, they might downplay it or act as if it's no big deal. In today's world where social comparisons are magnified through social media and career pressures, feelings of competition can intensify. Instead of celebrating with you, they may retreat, unable to acknowledge your achievements without feeling diminished. Stoicism teaches us not to let the actions or emotions of others disturb our inner peace. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Challenges, including others' reactions, can become opportunities for growth. If someone reacts negatively to your success, use it as a moment to reflect on the relationship. Their coldness may stem from their inner struggles, not a judgment of your worth. Instead of becoming frustrated or withdrawing, adopt a Stoic mindset. Acknowledge the situation, accept what you can't control, and don't let their response diminish your sense of accomplishment. In modern Stoicism, we understand that people's reactions often reflect their personal challenges, not our own value. If someone fails to celebrate your success, it's likely due to their dissatisfaction, not a judgment on you. With this perspective, you can choose to respond in a way that maintains your peace, letting go of the need for validation from others. Remember, their inability to share your joy doesn't lessen your achievement. In fact, it can provide an opportunity to appreciate your success for itself, not for how others perceive it. This allows you to maintain control over your emotions and detach from the need for external approval. The Stoic concept of amor fati, the love of fate, encourages us to accept everything, including others' negative reactions, as part of our journey. Though it's not always easy, especially when those closest to us don't fully support us, we can practice gratitude for our own achievements. As Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." When we detach from others' responses, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and can focus on the joy of our success. It's essential to stay grounded in your own worth. Your value is not dependent on others' approval. Don't let someone else's indifference or disdain diminish your happiness. People's reactions will vary, but what matters most is how you perceive yourself and the progress you've made. By embracing the principles of modern Stoicism, you can navigate emotional challenges with greater resilience and peace. While others may not always celebrate your success, you can continue to rise knowing that your achievements are yours to enjoy, regardless of their response. Number 8. Nonverbal cues and hidden details. One of the most powerful ways to gauge someone's true feelings is through nonverbal cues. Our bodies often betray what our minds try to hide, especially when it comes to emotions like hostility or resentment. Have you ever been around someone who smiles at you but you can sense something's off? Maybe their smile doesn't reach their eyes, or their handshake feels stiff, like they're trying too hard to be polite. These small, subtle details can often reveal more than words. For instance, someone who pretends to appreciate you might avoid eye contact when discussing something important, or their posture may seem tense as if they're keeping their distance. Sometimes the tone of their voice shifts, sounding strained as though they're forcing themselves to engage. These nonverbal signals might seem minor, but they can reveal a lot about their true feelings. Carl Jung once said that the unconscious mind cannot fully conceal its emotions. Even if someone tries to hide their feelings consciously, their body language often gives them away. Have you ever felt a subtle shift in the atmosphere during a conversation, even though the words were kind? The tension might be hard to explain, but your instincts pick it up. These cues speak volumes if you take the time to notice them. So what should you do when you sense this disconnect? Trust your instincts. If someone's body language is stiff or their responses feel forced, it's worth considering that something might be off. The power of Stoic secrets lies in looking beyond the surface. You don't need to confront them directly, but you can become more aware of how their behavior affects you. Take a common workplace scenario. For example, you work with someone who seems fine on the surface, but whenever you ask for help, their smile feels fake. Their tone is clipped and their eyes never meet yours. They might even make a passive-aggressive comment, brushing it off as a joke. At first you might think it's nothing, but you start to notice the pattern. Over time, you realize that these signs reflect their true feelings. The key question is, what will you do with this information? Will you continue as if everything is fine, or will you detach from the emotional weight of the situation like a true Stoic? Reflect on your own experiences. Think of someone whose nonverbal signals just didn't match their words. How did you respond? Did you confront them, or did you distance yourself? And how did that affect your peace of mind? Often, it's the smallest details that reveal the deepest truths. By learning to observe these cues and practicing Stoic acceptance, you can navigate relationships with greater clarity. Remember, your peace of mind is more important than trying to change someone's hidden feelings. The lesson is clear. Pay attention to the details and trust your instincts. In life, it's not just about the words people speak, but also the energy they carry and the body language they use. So the next time something feels off, listen to your body, observe the other person's cues, and consider how it makes you feel. Use this insight wisely and stay grounded in the Stoic practice of knowing what you can control and what you can't. The signs you've just explored could be clear indicators of subtle hostility in a relationship. If you notice these behaviors from someone close to you, it's important to be cautious and carefully consider their motives and impact on you. Sometimes, such hostility can not only cause emotional harm, but also hinder your personal growth. Recognizing these signs is the first step in protecting yourself from negativity. Additional insights and practical advice. However, recognizing these signs is just the beginning. To effectively handle and rise above these situations, we need specific strategies and approaches. Keep watching to learn how to protect yourself and maintain inner peace, even when faced with hidden animosity. Make sure you don't miss these crucial strategies, as they could transform the way you navigate challenges in your relationships. Number 1. Self-awareness in identifying hostility. Let's explore something often overlooked but incredibly powerful: self-awareness. How often do you check in with yourself after spending time with someone close to you? We're all so caught up in our busy lives that we miss the small signals of how others' behavior affects us. But self-awareness, paying attention to how we feel in someone's presence, can reveal things we might otherwise ignore. Have you ever noticed feeling drained or uneasy after being around someone you care about? At first, it might seem like nothing, just a bad mood. But it's worth asking, why do I feel this way? Is it a fleeting feeling, or is there something deeper happening? These emotions are often signs of subtle hostility. It's hard to spot, especially when it comes from someone you trust. But if you're self-aware, you can start to notice when your feelings don't match the situation. It's easy to dismiss a comment or behavior thinking it's just a bad day for them, or they didn't mean it that way. But modern Stoicism teaches us to question these assumptions. So if you consistently feel drained or upset around someone, it's time to reflect. Self-awareness helps you understand why. It's not about overthinking, but developing the clarity to recognize when something feels off. As you become more attuned to your emotions, you'll notice subtle shifts in energy. You may catch a sarcastic tone, a dismissive glance, or cold body language. These are signs of hidden hostility that can be more damaging than overt anger. It's the slow erosion of trust and respect. By paying attention to your feelings, you can see when these small moments add up. This awareness isn't just about identifying negativity in others, but about understanding your own triggers. Why does that comment hurt so much? What about their behavior unsettles you? These questions aren't about blaming others, but about understanding yourself so you can respond in a way that protects your peace. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." How often do we create unnecessary suffering by ignoring our inner voice? By not being self-aware enough to recognize when someone's behavior is chipping away at our peace of mind? When you're self-aware, you have the power to protect yourself from subtle hostility. You can set boundaries, choose not to engage, and safeguard your emotional space. It's about listening to your gut when something feels wrong and taking action to preserve your inner peace. So the next time you feel drained or uneasy after being around someone, take a step back. Ask yourself, what am I feeling and why? Reflecting on these questions can help you separate your emotions from someone else's influence. This practice helps protect you without being defensive. In modern Stoicism, this is a powerful tool. You can't control others' behavior, but you can control your response, which helps maintain your emotional well-being. Self-awareness isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. The more you practice it, the better you'll be at recognizing hidden hostility before it escalates. And when you do, you'll realize that often, the negativity you sense is more about the other person's issues than it is about you. So I ask you, are you truly aware of how people's behavior affects you? Can you spot when something's off before it escalates? How might your life change if you trusted your instincts more and intentionally protected your peace? Number 2, protecting yourself emotionally. Protecting your emotional well-being when confronted with hostility is not only important, it's essential for maintaining your peace of mind and sense of self. The first step in this process is recognizing the signs of toxicity in your relationships, as we've discussed earlier. The more you can identify harmful behaviors, whether they're subtle or overt, the easier it will be to protect yourself from them. Once you recognize these patterns, it's vital to distance yourself emotionally from the individuals involved. This doesn't necessarily mean severing ties completely, but rather setting clear boundaries. You might need to limit your interactions or even confront them directly about their behavior, ensuring you stand firm in your self-respect. By doing so, you make it clear that you won't tolerate disrespect or manipulation, and you're choosing to protect your emotional peace rather than engaging in negative dynamics. The great Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This wisdom encourages us to understand that much of the harm people can cause is only as powerful as we allow it to be. The more you practice emotional detachment and self-awareness, the less influence toxic individuals will have over your emotional state. Building a solid foundation of self-esteem and emotional resilience is crucial in this process. When you are confident in your own worth, the weight of others' hostility diminishes significantly. It's like carrying a shield. When you know your value, external attacks don't penetrate as deeply. That's why reinforcing your inner strength through mindfulness and emotional regulation techniques can make a huge difference. Practices such as meditation or breathing exercises allow you to remain calm in the face of negativity and avoid getting swept away by it. By taking time to center yourself, you can maintain clarity in your responses and prevent the emotional volatility that hostility often triggers. In addition, remember this: you have every right to step away from any relationship that harms your mental health, regardless of how close the person may be. The Stoic secrets teach us that we must prioritize our own tranquility and not allow others' dysfunction to invade our peace. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most well-known Stoics, advised, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed." This is a powerful reminder that while we cannot always control the behavior of others, we do have control over how we react. If someone's presence is harming your mental well-being, it is not only acceptable but necessary to distance yourself. In the modern world, Where relationships can become increasingly complicated, understanding that your emotional health is your responsibility is vital. You owe it to yourself to cultivate a mindset that protects your inner peace, and to walk away from relationships that continuously disrupt it. Recognizing and protecting yourself from emotional harm is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it's a form of strength and wisdom that empowers you to live a life of greater contentment and resilience. Protecting your emotional well-being is the first step towards creating a life of peace and self-respect. If you're ready to prioritize your mental health and set boundaries that safeguard your emotional peace, like this video and comment below. Master your peace. Remember, true strength comes not from controlling others, but from mastering yourself. Let's embrace our inner strength and rise above negativity. Number 3. The Stoic approach to hostility. The Stoic approach to hostility centers around the powerful idea that while we cannot control the actions of others, we always have control over how we respond to them. This is especially crucial when dealing with individuals who harbor secret resentment or hostility. These individuals often express passive-aggressive behavior or silent resentment, leaving us feeling hurt or betrayed. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what's within our control, our thoughts, actions, and emotional responses, while accepting what's beyond our control, including others' negative behavior. Epictetus captured this perfectly, stating, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." This wisdom helps us navigate difficult emotions, especially when faced with unkindness or hostility. Into today's world, passive-aggressive comments and dismissive actions are common, and it's easy to feel upset or retaliate when faced with such behavior. However, Stoicism offers an alternative approach: emotional detachment. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent, but rather learning not to let others' negativity disturb our inner peace. If we let others' hostility affect us, it robs us of our tranquility. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to understand the behavior without internalizing it, preserving our emotional composure. The Stoic response to hostility isn't retaliation, it's understanding that others' actions often stem from their own inner struggles, not our faults. People who act passively aggressively may be dealing with insecurities or fears they cannot express directly. By recognizing this, we can avoid taking their behavior personally. Seneca wisely said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality," reminding us that we often exaggerate the impact of negativity, making it seem worse than it truly is. By not internalizing their hostility, we free ourselves from its emotional weight. In practical terms, when faced with hostility, you don't need to react or engage in the drama. Instead, recognize that their behavior reflects their struggles, not yours. The key is to maintain control over your emotions and respond thoughtfully, not impulsively. Whether it's a colleague undermining you or a friend dismissing your achievements, you can choose not to engage with their negativity, preserving your peace and emotional balance. Detachment is crucial to staying emotionally grounded. This doesn't mean becoming cold, but rather refusing to let others' negativity control your inner world. Stoicism teaches that we are responsible for how we respond to life's challenges, including hostility. While it's not always easy, with practice you'll become less affected by others' behavior and more anchored in your peace and purpose. By focusing on what we can control, our responses, we empower ourselves to live more serenely. In summary, the Stoic approach to hostility offers a powerful framework for maintaining peace of mind in adversity. By focusing on what's within our control and practicing emotional detachment, we can avoid being swayed by negative people. Rather than retaliating or internalizing aggression, we recognize their behavior as a reflection of their own struggles. This Stoic practice helps us preserve emotional self-discipline and lead a life of greater peace. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Number 4. Psychological roots of hostility. Understanding hostility from someone close to you can be perplexing, especially when it seems to appear without warning. However, have you ever considered that their behavior might not be about you, but rather a reflection of their own inner struggles? Often, hostility stems from deeper emotional wounds such as unresolved trauma, fear of rejection, or feelings of inadequacy. For example, someone who grew up feeling neglected or unworthy may harbor jealousy or resentment toward others who appear more confident or successful. This hostility reflects their internal pain rather than your actions. When you recognize these psychological roots, it becomes easier to avoid taking their behavior personally. While it doesn't justify their actions, understanding their struggles allows you to approach the situation with compassion and empathy, helping you preserve your peace of mind. Consider the example of Sarah and her friend Lisa. After receiving a promotion at work, Sarah excitedly shared the news with Lisa, only to be met with coldness and passive-aggressive behavior. Sarah felt hurt and confused at first, thinking she'd done something wrong. However, after discussing the situation with a therapist, she learned that Lisa's hostility was linked to her own unresolved emotional issues. Lisa had always felt overlooked, and Sarah's success triggered feelings of inadequacy. This understanding allowed Sarah to see that Lisa's behavior wasn't about her, but rather a projection of Lisa's internal struggles. With this insight, Sarah responded with empathy, setting healthy boundaries to protect her well-being. You've ever faced hostility from someone close to you? Consider that their behavior may stem from deeper psychological issues like insecurity or unresolved trauma. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control the actions of others, we can control our own responses. By understanding the psychological roots of someone's hostility, you can detach from the need for their approval or validation. Instead of letting their emotional turmoil affect you, you can respond with compassion and maintain your own inner peace. In moments like this, Stoic secrets offer powerful guidance. Rather than reacting impulsively to hostility, you can choose to understand the other person's pain and set healthy boundaries. Knowing that their behavior arises from their own insecurities allows you to handle the situation with emotional resilience. You don't need to internalize their negativity. Instead, use these experiences as opportunities to strengthen your emotional resolve. The key takeaway here is twofold. First, recognize that hostility often has psychological roots. When someone close to you behaves in a hurtful way, consider what might be going on beneath the surface. This awareness helps you respond with empathy and prevents you from reacting impulsively. Second, remember that your peace of mind is not dependent on others' behavior. Stoic secrets remind us that we control our responses. Understanding the underlying reasons behind others' actions allows you to maintain emotional balance and set boundaries that protect your well-being. Ultimately, by recognizing the psychological roots of hostility, you empower yourself to navigate challenging situations with compassion, strength, and unwavering inner peace. Number 5. Building healthy boundaries. Imagine being in a relationship with someone close to you, a friend, partner, or family member, and feeling something is off. You notice subtle signs that leave you feeling disrespected, hurt, or manipulated. Maybe they belittle your thoughts or dismiss your feelings, making you doubt your worth. Perhaps they constantly push your limits emotionally or psychologically without considering how it affects you. It's easy to feel trapped, especially when you care about them. But here's where you reclaim your peace. Setting healthy boundaries. Key lesson from modern Stoicism is personal sovereignty, the ability to control your emotional state and protect your mental space. Setting boundaries isn't about pushing others away. It's about creating a space where your well-being comes first and ensuring your relationships remain healthy and respectful. Without boundaries, we risk opening ourselves to manipulation and emotional harm, especially from those who might not have the best intentions. For example, if someone constantly belittles you, It's not just the words, but the message. I don't respect you. That's where boundaries come in. They allow you to say, I won't tolerate this behavior. By setting them, you protect yourself while also establishing a clear standard for how you expect to be treated. Think about it. If someone you care about continuously belittles you and you say nothing, wouldn't it chip away at your self-esteem? But by addressing the behavior calmly, you take control of your emotional well-being. Setting boundaries is not selfish, it's self-care. It allows you to preserve your mental and emotional health while still engaging with others. As Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions but in having few wants. This means we don't need external validation or constant approval from others. We need to hold on to our own inner standards, regardless of how others behave. Are you allowing someone's behavior to affect your peace, or are you taking steps to protect your well-being? Setting boundaries might feel intimidating, especially with people we care about, but it's necessary for self-respect. Without them, we risk losing sight of who we are and letting others control our emotions. So, ask yourself, where do you need to draw the line in your relationships? What behaviors won't you tolerate? And how can you express those boundaries firmly yet respectfully? Setting clear, healthy boundaries doesn't just protect you, it empowers you to cultivate balanced, respectful relationships. The Stoics believed in self-mastery, and part of mastering yourself is learning to protect your emotional space. By establishing boundaries, you create more peace and purpose in your life, engaging with others on your own terms. As you reflect on the importance of setting healthy boundaries in your relationships, think about the areas in your life where you may need to take control and protect your peace. If you're ready to step into your personal power and ensure your well-being is prioritized, share your commitment with our community. Comment, I am setting my boundaries to let us know you're taking the first step toward fostering healthier, more balanced relationships. Number 6. Recognizing passive-aggressive behavior. Passive-aggressive behavior is one of the most subtle yet damaging forms of hostility. It often manifests in indirect ways like procrastination, stubbornness, or sarcastic comments, which can be difficult to identify as hostile. For instance, a colleague might repeatedly delay a promised project, or a friend might offer a backhanded compliment disguised as humor. While these actions may seem like minor annoyances, they can be unsettling and indicate deeper unresolved emotions. Recognizing this behavior is essential, as it helps us understand that the underlying issue often lies with the person exhibiting the behavior, not with us. As a Stoic, I've learned that how we respond to such situations reveals our inner strength. Instead of reacting with frustration, we should approach these moments with clarity and wisdom, focusing on what we can control. Our reaction. To handle passive-aggressive behavior effectively, it's crucial to communicate directly and set clear boundaries. It's easy to feel confused when someone's actions don't align with their true feelings. Rather than letting resentment build, Stoicism encourages us to respond with calm assertiveness. We can't control others' actions, but we can control how we react. Epictetus once said, "We are not disturbed by things, but by the views we take of them." So, when passive-aggressive behavior arises, take a step back, assess the situation, and speak directly about how their actions are impacting you. By setting boundaries and addressing the issue calmly, you protect your peace while confronting the behavior with integrity. In modern life, passive-aggressive behavior is common, especially in work or personal relationships. You may encounter someone who is always too busy to help or notice that a friend's compliments seem more like veiled criticisms. These situations can leave you questioning the other person's true feelings, but it's important to remember that their behavior reflects their own struggles, not your worth. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." We can't control what others do, but we can control our responses. When faced with passive-aggressive behavior, it's essential to stay grounded and act with dignity. Responding wisely doesn't mean tolerating disrespect, but addressing the issue assertively without allowing it to affect your peace of mind. Stoicism teaches us to protect our tranquility, regardless of others' actions. Often, passive-aggressive behavior arises because people lack the courage to express their frustrations directly, or they suppress their emotions. By recognizing this pattern, we not only shield ourselves from unnecessary emotional turmoil, but also grow stronger in the face of adversity. These moments of tension provide an opportunity to practice virtue, reinforce our resilience, and demonstrate our character. Sometimes the best response is to not engage at all. Instead, maintain your peace by acting with integrity and setting clear boundaries when necessary. The Stoic secret in dealing with passive-aggressive behavior is the understanding that, while we can't control others' actions, we can control our reactions. By maintaining boundaries, communicating directly, and addressing the issue with calm assertiveness, we can navigate these challenges without letting them disrupt our peace. As a Stoic, remember that you are the master of your emotions. In moments of tension, rise above, stay true to your values, and preserve your inner peace. This is the essence of Stoicism, responding to life's challenges with wisdom, composure, and integrity, no matter how others behave. Number 7. Letting go of toxic relationships for mental health. One of the most empowering decisions for your mental well-being is letting go of toxic relationships. We've all encountered people who drain us emotionally through resentment, manipulation, or constant negativity. Holding on to these relationships out of guilt or obligation only depletes your energy and disrupts your peace. Letting go doesn't always mean severing ties completely. It may involve setting boundaries or distancing yourself from their harmful influence. In some cases, cutting ties altogether is necessary, especially when their negativity is irreparable. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." If someone continuously harms your emotional health, stepping away is not only acceptable, it's essential for your protection. In today's world, where we often prioritize obligations over our well-being, toxic relationships can take a heavy toll. Manipulation, guilt trips, and passive-aggressive behavior can erode your self-worth, and these relationships, although seemingly harmless at first, only grow more draining with time. Setting boundaries or distancing yourself is a way to reclaim the energy otherwise spent on unhealthy dynamics. Modern Stoicism teaches us not to let external circumstances disturb our inner peace. The Stoics emphasized focusing on what we can control, particularly who we allow into our emotional space. Letting go is not about bitterness or anger, it's about emotional detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring, but that you stop allowing their negativity to affect your happiness. Modern Stoicism encourages us to view others' actions with understanding, not attachment. A toxic person's behavior reflects their struggles, not your worth. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This allows you to protect your emotional space by changing how you relate to the toxic individual. Choosing to distance or cut ties with someone who harms you is an act of self-care. While it may bring guilt, especially with family or longtime friends, remember that you're rejecting their harmful behavior, not the person. You are not obligated to endure damage because of past connections. As Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Letting go of toxic relationships is an investment in your remaining time and energy, time you can use to build supportive relationships that nourish you. By releasing toxic connections, you create space for healthier, more positive relationships, ones that align with your values and foster your growth. This shift not only improves your mental health but boosts your self-worth and emotional resilience. Modern Stoicism reminds us that while we cannot control others, we can control how we respond. Sometimes, That means distancing ourselves from those who drain us. Although it may be difficult at first, especially if the person has been significant in your life, it will ultimately protect your peace of mind and help you continue growing into the best version of yourself. Letting go of toxic relationships is not a loss. It's a gain for your mental health, peace, and future. In conclusion, recognizing the signs of hidden hostility is essential for protecting your emotional well-being. Whether it's subtle contempt, passive-aggressive remarks, or emotional sabotage, these signs often fly under the radar, gradually draining your peace. By embracing self-awareness and setting clear boundaries, you can shield yourself from the negative impact of these relationships. The principles of modern Stoicism teach us that we control our responses, not the actions of others, and this power helps us maintain balance. Remember, you deserve supportive, respectful connections, and it's okay to distance yourself from those who bring negativity into your life. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic in Your Life. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss out on more Stoic secrets to help you navigate life with wisdom and resilience.